Hey everybody, Colin with Wapsie River at Hunting. I'm just out here on a piece of private ground that I've got permission to hunt on out here in northeast Iowa. And I want to bring something up front and forward first. I know my videos are really sporadic, really hit, miss, whatever. Jumping around on things. I'm going to be working a lot better on that. Starting with this one, and I figured I'm going to start going into a little more details and doing a little bit more with what I do, why I do it, how I do it, all that sort of jazz. I've kind of been watching, quote unquote, the professionals, and I think I might be onto something here, but I don't know. That's up for you guys to all decide. But I know in my previous videos, as you can see, I talked about my not big, I talked about my food plots. And I just figured I'm going to show you, chicory. These aren't your typical seeds either, by the way. Clover, I got 2 bags of them. Right here, this bag, this is my bag of forage rape. And right here, that is my bag of chufa. No, I'm not sponsored by any of these people. This is stuff that I bought off of Amazon because I am cheap and don't have access, I just honestly don't want to spend the money from at the big box stores and everything else, because everything I just showed you, all that right there, I sat down and figured it out. I've got less than $40 sitting there in seed, and when done right, it should be able to plant everything that I have tilled up and have extra seed left over. Well, I don't do things to the book, and I hope you guys will realize that. Well, here's a prime example. I'm gonna walk over here and show you. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack from here on out, but I want to prove to you guys that find a way that works best for you. Okay. Now, I'm not saying don't do what the professionals do. If that works for you, then do it. If it doesn't work for you, take the good from them and go from that. Okay. Now, that is one of my deer stands. That is a short stand. That stand is only 10 feet off the ground. You guys might ask, well, why is that stand only 10 feet off the ground? Well, it's what I wanted to do, and at the time, when all this foliage is gone in the fall, I don't have a backdrop. And the higher up that I go, well, I want to stay low so that way I have a backdrop and cover. Because if you notice, that tree is not very big. It's maybe only 17, 18 inches in diameter. You can see that by the tree. There are stands out here that I have 18 feet up. I put stands where I want things to happen. Now, what I mean by that is, what I have learned over the years is you can coax the deer into what you want them to do. Some of you might say, "Oh, I'm blowing smoke up your ass," but I'm not. Okay, you can even do this on public ground too. For all the big public ground hunter guys, I've been known to do it, but I do it discreetly. You can make paths easier for deer to travel, and they'll start doing it. I have come, and a lot of other people will tell you, deer are very lazy animals. They will take the shortest, easiest route from point A to point B, whether it be from bedding to food, food to bedding, bedding to water, water to bedding, yada, yada, yada. I have learned that. So I have done all my due diligence, everything, and have put that try to put that every year into my favor. Hence, that's why I got my food plot the way that it is. Okay. Is this all going to end up getting planted where I'm leaning up against my truck? Eventually, yes, it will. But under one circumstance that it wouldn't is if what I have done works. And so far, while out here turkey hunting, I have seen every deer walk through that opening right there in the shadows, come out, walk along that edge, and walk right down that edge. You notice there's no grass, no nothing. I tilled it up, and I'm actually out here to plant the rest of it. And they're doing exactly that. As I'm actually looking across, halfway across the field, a big body deer just stepped out and is feeding in the cornfield. But I've come to do that, so I like to put things in perspective. Now I also look for natural pinch points, funnels, you name it, inside corners, all your normal old school stuff that you typically look for when you want to find what the deer are doing. So I just take that information and find the most heavily traveled trail and then turn it into something a little easier. You know, yes, for out here, I've got access now to a tractor that's got a tiller, that's got a brush hog, got all that jazz to be able to go out and do this. A couple years ago, I didn't have the equipment to be able to do all this, so what I would use is I would use a weed eater, and I would do all my scouting on foot and all this, you know, walking down a heavily traveled trail and then find out where it meets up with another heavily traveled trail. And out in that general intersection spot, do my homework, yada, yada, yada. And I would make that trail going to that intersection a lot better. Now, I would only use one because I would want the deer to go towards one direction. Now, if there's multiple trails coming off of that, but they're just smaller trails, not heavily traveled trails, I wouldn't worry so much about them. I always worried about the main heavily traveled trails. That's where I've had the best luck. You know, and some people are like, oh, those trails might be buck trails. Those are the trails that the bucks are going to use. You should do that. Well, I don't have time to go out and do every single trail. Okay. I don't do this for a living. None of that jazz. So, I do what works best for me, and I want you guys to do what works best for you. If you want to go out and do all those trails, that's fine. You'll notice a difference. So, what I've noticed is with doing this work out here, I've got the deer pretty much doing what I want them to do. I've got deer going past the stand that's behind me. I've got them coming down inside the woods. I carried this path here. You can kind of see it goes in the woods right there. Okay. And the deer are using that, coming right up, doing exactly what I want them to do. I'm trying to create a safe haven on this property, damn bugs, and not quote unquote get back into their safe haven, because I would like to try and hold deer here with that big field being a cornfield this year, because I know that's going to help hold deer too. So I'm just out here right now. I'm going to do some recon and get my cameras up and rolling. I'm going to get a little bit more seed planted. Like I said, I've got my chicory, my clover, my forage rape, and chufa. A little bit later on, I think later towards the end of the month of June, around the 4th of July time frame, I think I'm going to come out here, do a little bit of work, and get some soybeans planted, so that way they're nice and green come August, September, October time frame, or try and stay greener longer. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm willing to take that chance on soybeans. But like I said, when it comes to doing food plots, if you don't have the money to do all this stuff, or the property to do it, just think outside the box a little bit. For $40, you can get a couple of rakes and everything, and most every guy I know's got a weed eater, or be able to get your hands on one, and just weed eat some trails out, rake areas out, and get you some stuff that you can just throw on the ground and cover up with a rake. Believe it or not, that actually works really well. You don't need all the heavy tilling equipment. You don't need the tractors. You guys don't need none of that, okay? Now, I'm not out here trying to grow big bucks. I know there's big bucks on the property. I know there's big bucks in the area. I don't need to try and grow them. I want to try and lure them into the area, okay? I'm letting the neighbors around me that on this property do the growing for me. 2 neighbors to the north over here actually don't allow hunting at all, so that's another safe haven that they have when it comes to Iowa shotgun season. So hence why I'm putting a food plot on the north side, so that way I can draw them in for late season to cross the road, come on into the property, and let bygones be bygones at that point. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I'm going to let the neighbors do the growing part. I just want to lure deer in, okay? I'm not out here searching for a 200 incher. I'm not out here searching for a booner. I'm doing this to give the deer something extra besides corn, help draw them in a little bit more, and just to put my theories to a test, and so, and that's all I'm really doing. And so far it seems to be working. I take a little bit from the Kiskies. I take a little bit from Lukoski. I take a little bit from Bomar and everything. And I take the good from them and see how I can put it into my game plan for what I can do, for what I can control, and roll with it. So just a little tidbit of information for you guys, just to think outside the box a little bit. Get your hands dirty a little bit if you want to. It seems like that's what everybody's wanting to do. Like I said, if you don't have access to, the equipment that I have, then, nothing that a weed eater and a rake can't do, because they make seeds out there for it, and they do work. I've done it for years, and I'm still using the old throw and grow and stuff. I've actually got a specific spot for that stuff. So But anyways, I'm gonna get to getting some seed planted. I gotta get up that ground blind pulled, and there might be a little bit of rain coming, so I want to try and get a little bit more seed in the ground, get my cameras going before this rain possibly kicks in. And just wanted to let you guys know, you know, hey, I want to try and do better, and just try and give you guys some helpful advice when it comes to if you're wanting to do food plots or anything. You know, you don't even have to do food plots. Like I said, just clearing paths, well, you'll see a lot more deer movement in your area and towards your stands and stuff. You start clearing paths, deer will find them and start using them, and you'd be surprised at the results. So until the next video, guys, I want you to like, subscribe, share, do all the good jazz, help this channel grow. And I know that it might seem far-fetched and everything else, but I promise you the videos are going to get better. The content that goes along with all this is going to get better, and seeing what I actually do is going to get better. I'm going to make sure to make it a point that anytime that I'm out in the woods that I'm going to be doing this or having somebody do it for me, and show you how much of a fun time can be had being in the outdoors. So like, subscribe, share. My good buddy Mason with Wapsie River Rat Fishing, we will be doing a giveaway around the 4th of July, and we will do something really big if we both can hit, well, I think he's got over 100 subscribers, but if we can get this channel to get up to 100, we'll do something, and every 100 we're going to try and do something. So help this channel grow, and I promise you guys, you won't be disappointed, and who knows, you might even get a chuckle out of it. So until the next video, guys, just have fun, be safe, and be yourself.